So here's the one that it just imported. It was a 2-slide Jamboard that I had. And now that it's imported, it brings it, actually there are 3 slides, I guess. I'm not going to use, and it brings them in as these different slides on your Jamboard. Now, one of the things that you'll notice here with this Jamboard is that it is this really large white canvas space that is all around. And if I were to use my trackpad to pinch and zoom, you can see that there's a lot of space all around this that I can use. I don't have to use it all. I could really expand and use all of it if I wanted to. Now, what's really kind of nice here too is if I want to focus in on part of my Jamboard here, I can center this and then just zoom in on this one part that I wanted to focus on here for this particular assignment or task or whatever you're doing. But then it's pretty easy to slide over and grab the next things that you want. So this was an activity that with Jamboard, I had students create sticky notes and things for to add to these different slides. And so I'm going to show you kind of quickly on how you can do some of those different things and add some of the other tools that are on here. The first things that I want to show you are some of these tools down here on the bottom. This select tool, once it's selected here, you see that I can use to grab the different parts on here. And if I hold down the shift key and select these different things, you'll see that it highlights them all. And then I can use to move and drag those different things as I see fit. The other thing is if you want to move the whole presentation by itself, all of the different pieces around, if I grab the hand tool, you're going to see that it moves all of these different slides around. And if I zoom out, you can see it even easier. And I can put it wherever on that canvas that I want to put it. And that's using the hand tool. But if I want to point in again on a certain part of it here, I'm going to scroll into this. Now, the next thing that I would maybe want to do if this were my presentation, now that it's in Figjam, is to make these parts different sections. And sections allows you to do some different things with it, like open it and close it to students being able to view it. So I'm going to take this first slide that you'll see here outlined with that black line, and I'm going to choose this button down here in the middle that is called section. And then I'm going to be able to create a box around that first slide that I have and make it a section. So now everything that's on that slide is going to be grouped together. And so what I can then do is I can rename this section, right? And I can call it segregation. Okay, so that I know what that topic is. But the other thing that I can do here with this section also is I can click on this I button and I can hide it. So now any student that has access to this Figjam is only going to be able to see the parts that I make available for them to be able to see. So I'm going to do the same thing here with these other 2 slides that I have by making them sections and renaming these sections. Okay, and one more. And make this the third one, and I can rename this too. Right? And also make them hidden so that students can't work ahead on these different ones if I don't want them to. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unhide this first one here. And, I should also point out a couple of other tools that are on here. You can resize it to fit with these tools, as well as change some of the colors of the background of the section. It's up to you, whatever you'd like to choose to use for that. Now, on here, you have some different tools. There is also a marker, which if I select the marker, I can illustrate, or I can say, focus on this part right here. I can use a highlighter if I want to highlight different words that are on the screen. There are some tools here that you can add some other features to. You can change the colors of the pen. You can even erase some of the things that you had done if you don't want them to appear that way. The washi tape, oh yeah. You also have the ability to add tape to it. Maybe just make things stand out a little bit here and allow it not to move. And you have some different styles that you can choose from there as well. Okay. The next thing here that I want to show you is that you can have students choose to add a sticky note, like if they're going to give their response to something. And the students can choose different colors, and you can give the colors different meanings. But if I wanted to add a green sticky note, I drag that up on here. Now, that looks hard to see, but remember, I can simply zoom in on it, and I can say, here is my response, right? And it shows up with my name that I gave that. And David's going to show you how you can have students post in here anonymously or using their name through Google Classroom. And so those are some other options that you as a teacher have as well. There's our shape tools here that you can use to connect different things together. If I want to put a box in there and then I want to connect it to, let's say, another shape, I can add these different components. I gotta add that component. And you can use it to create flowchart type things on here too. There is a tool here to make a text box. And again, if I need to see it bigger, I can zoom in on it. And then once I do, of course, I can make the text any size that I want to. Maybe I want to add some direction onto this slide that I want people to be able to add things to. Another one of the features down here on the bottom is a table. So I can click and drag to add a table. If I needed to sort some information in a more of a spreadsheet type way, it's simple to do that and add that here. And finally, you can also add a stamp feature. And I think for this one, what I'm going to do is actually switch and go back to a previous one that I had done that has some responses on it. And, maybe what I can do is, choose to give some thumbs up. And I can add as many as I want to a particularly good response, right? I could choose to add my own image to it. Like that's hard to see, but again, if I zoom in, you can see that's my little picture. And any other reaction that you or other students would want to be able to give to it. Like if I think this is a especially good one, I can add more of that moving kind of a character to it. One other feature that I just wanted to point out here, because this one actually has some responses on it. If I select, let's say, this particular section, one of the tools that's on here is the ability to organize and summarize. It is an AI tool, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But what it's doing right here in this box is that it just gave a summary of the different responses that people had and kind of brings them in together and maybe kind of leads you to more of a kind of a more focused discussion sort of topic that you could have with students based upon the responses that they had given. So those are some of the tools here. And you can see, I think from the ones that I showed here anyway, that many of these tools are things that you had the ability to do within Jamboard, and they've carried over pretty directly right into Figjam.